I don't even think I'll be able to finish it in this whole video, so I've got a lot to get to, so let's get started. The very first question came from J. Jackson, the letter J and Jackson. He asked, is feminism still needed in the Western Hemisphere? There was a follow-up question to that, which was, how long before women were oppressed again if feminism went away? So, also I want to say that Musty Sock requested this video, and Dingma commented from his request. So, I wanted to say thanks to both of them for the recommendation. Also, Dingma asked what job I do, and I am in real estate. I'm a real estate agent currently. That's my day job, but I'll get to there's several people asked about my job, so I'll get to all of those. Also, I am going to answer Jay Jackson's question first, since he was the first to ask a question, and then after that, I am going to respond first to the questions from my channel members, because they actually pay me every month to support my channel. My current members are KB, the letter K and the letter B. He's a brand new member. Lauren has been with me quite some time. Karma Whispers ASMR, he has been with me for quite some time. And then Lemon Shatter was with me for some time. Somehow he's fallen off, so I don't know what's happened, because he was about to hit his 1 year mark and we were going to celebrate, but somehow he went away as a member, so I don't know, something's happened there. But also I did have another member, which was Wayne, who was like my very first subscriber, so he's like been very instrumental in getting me started, because he was my very first subscriber and also my very first channel member, but he has also went away, so I don't know if he's still out there, but thank you nonetheless. Okay, so let's get started with the feminism question. So is feminism still needed? This is kind of an interesting topic in that we just talked about Andrew Tate and his misogyny and his anti-feminism message. This is a really tough one, and it's really controversial. I think there are parts of it that are valid, but I do believe it can go too far, and I think we have swung the pendulum just a little bit too far. Like, I think today men are like afraid to ask women out because of like the Me Too movement, and especially in a workplace. I can't imagine working somewhere and asking a coworker if they wanted to go out on a date or something, because everything, I mean, if you ask the wrong person and you get the wrong answer, you could get fired. I mean, there are some companies that are very, very strict. So, my answer, I think, is yes, it's still required. I think we have to be diligent and vigilant in making sure that women have equal rights, but I do think they've went too far with some of their protesting, and certainly with the way that our pop culture is going today with like anti-gender. Like, there is not just a man and a woman anymore. There's so many genders, and I know that's not specifically feminism, but the follow-up to that is like, how long if feminism went away, do I think it would resort back to women being oppressed? And with that, I truly feel like so long as our society and the majority of our citizens are religious based, that there is always going to be some sort of oppression, primarily because of what place religions give to women. I'm going to give you an example. So in the 3rd chapter of Genesis, which Genesis is the very first chapter of the Bible, chapter 3, verse 11. I'm sorry, chapter 3, verse, where's it at? Verse 16. So this is after God created the heavens and the earth and the animals, and then he made Adam, and then he saw Adam was alone, so he wanted to make a woman. So he made a woman, and then the woman ate the apple, and conception, in sorrow you shall bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over you. So, that's just one scripture. That's the very first scripture. He's talking to the woman and basically says, I'm going to make childbirth very, very painful for you, and you have to submit to your husband. So that's the very first thing when the woman is first brought into the world. That's what Christianity says. In Islam, the women wear burqas and have to cover their faces. And so they are obviously highly restricted in that religion as well. So I think so long as there are mainstream religions, we are going to have some issues. I just think it's inherent because women, a lot of women don't want to submit, and therefore they're going to fight that, and it's going to create conflict, maybe within a family, maybe outside of the family. It's just some men are devout Christians. They believe a woman has a specific place, and it's not being a cop, it's not being, definitely not being a preacher, definitely not being in the military. They do believe that women are meant to be housewives, and women that go outside of that, they're looked down upon by a lot of men. And so I think that that's always going to be an issue in our society. I do not ever see the day anything resorts back to like women not being able to vote or have freedoms. I just think we're always going to have some, internal strife because of everybody's different opinions. And yeah, so there's that one. Oh goodness, I have the dog door closed, but they can still walk around, and right now I hear a coyote out there, and they would be going out there to bark at it if it was if the dog door was open, but they can't get out. So anyway, I gotta keep going. So next I'm gonna go to I think Karma Whispers was next. Oh, Lemon Shatter. There he is. Lemon Shatter asked, what initially turned you away from God and religion? So that's the first part of his question. When I lost a brother when I was 28, he was 18. He died in a motorcycle accident, and at the time I was a Christian, but I was like a halfway Christian. Like I still smoked and drank and went to bars, and I was 28. I was still partying a lot, and but I still believed in God. And so when my brother died, I felt like he went to heaven, and I wanted to make sure I could see him again. So I started studying the Bible, and I wanted to figure, the reason I started studying the Bible is because, one, I wanted to make sure I saw my brother again, and so I really devoted to God and religion again. And number two, I felt like I was a Christian, but I didn't know what type of Christian I was. Like, was I a Baptist, or was I a Methodist, or was I a Lutheran, Catholic? I didn't know what the difference was. So I started reading the Bible essence, that's what I believe. I believe there was a big bang. I believe an explosion caused this, and it was billions and billions and billions of years that it took for all of this to happen. If you'd like dig down deep, and you find like fossil records, you can just see the erosion of time and how long it has taken. So I do believe, I believe in evolution. Now, I will also say that there is still a part of me that holds out hope that maybe there is something more. I want to believe in a creator, I do, but it just frustrates me to think that somebody would have created this, and then they're powerful enough to create something like this and create our magnificent world and all that you see, but yet they just sit back and do nothing when it comes to like little kids getting hurt and killed and raped. And that's the part I just can't wrap my head around. How could something so wonderful allow so much evil, and why would they create something like this? It just doesn't make sense. So he also has a third question in here. Are you married? I am not, and I never have been. If not, do you plan to be? I don't know. I don't plan to have kids, and so I really don't know why people get married if they're not going to have kids, because to me, at least in America, like a preacher marries you, but it takes a lawyer and a judge to divorce you, and I just don't understand that. Now, there's some benefits like insurance and some tax benefits, so maybe, if I met a woman that was really that had never been married before, I wouldn't probably marry a woman who had been married before, unless the husband died or something like that. But if she had been divorced and didn't keep her first vows, which was till death do us part, then I wouldn't think she would keep them to me either. So that's that. Then his next question is, have you ever traveled outside of the United States? Yes, I have. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Canada. I've been to Cancun, to the Bahamas. That's pretty much it. There's another country down by the Bahamas that I've been to, and I forget the name of it. It's in the Caribbean. I'm drawing a blank, but yes, I have been outside the United States, but never over to India or China or anything like that. I would like to go to Japan someday. What is your favorite food? Probably pizza is my favorite food. Because it's just hard to mess it up, and it's so easy to get and easy to eat, and just tastes really good. But I don't eat it very often because I'm trying to stay lean, and the older I get, the harder it is. And so I just have to work out a lot, and so I have to eat relatively lean. So that's from Lemon Shatter. Next is Karma Whispers, because he's another channel member. Karma Whispers says, hello, I am from Portland, Oregon. I did ask you in that last video to tell me where you were from, so I can mention that. So thank you for Karma for doing that. Some questions. What life experience do you think shaped you the most? Obviously, I just talked about my brother's death, and that was really influential in my life because it helped steer me in a certain direction. I also think that growing up poor gave me a really strong work ethic, because I knew I didn't want to be poor. I knew I didn't ever believe money would make me happy, but I always felt like I wouldn't be happy if I didn't have it. So I knew it wasn't just having money that would make me happy. But I also just felt like if I didn't have it, I knew I would just be miserable, struggling to pay my bills or something. I can't imagine, because I did when I was young. I went through that. I was poor. My parents were poor. They didn't give me anything to get started. I worked from a very young age and just kept working and working and working and working. And that's how I got here, because I worked so damn hard. So I think being poor shaped my financial life, and I think losing my brother Lemon Shatter's questions, but I've been all over the United States, pretty much everything I wanted to see, like California and Florida, New York, all over the Midwest, because that's where I live, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Chicago, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, South and North Carolina. I mean, I've been to almost everything, everywhere you can think of in the United States. I've never been to Hawaii. I would like to go to Hawaii. And also I think I will move somewhere warm eventually. Somebody asks why I stay in the Midwest, but I'll get to that when I get to their question. If you could relive your life, what would you do differently? This is another question from Karma Whispers. I would have definitely went to law school. If I knew everything I knew now, I think I would have went to law school straight out of high school. I would have went to college to go to law school because I just find it fascinating, and not that I don't like what I do now, but I think I just would really enjoy that job, especially if I was doing it and not worried about the money, even though most attorneys do okay. That was another question from Karma Whispers. What is your workout routine? So I work out nearly every day. I try to work out every day, but only for like 45 minutes a day. On one day, I do a dumbbell workout, so I don't go to a gym. I just work out at home. I have dumbbells, and I do like a weight routine one day that takes I do a 5-minute workout video that's a warm-up video, and then I work out with my dumbbells for about 45 minutes, and I do pretty much the same routine every dumbbell day. The following day, I do a HIIT routine, and a HIIT routine is a high-intensity interval training. It's like calisthenics. And so I do the weight routine to build my muscles, and I do the HIIT routine to lower my body fat so that I can stay lean. Karma Whisperers also, he's taken a lot of questions. He says, do you or have you played video games, and which ones? No, I just have stayed away from them because when I was younger, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, they had like the old Ataris and things like that, and I wanted them when I was a kid, but my parents were so poor they couldn't afford them for me. And then once I got out on my own, I just worked so much that I never wanted to have them in my house because I never wanted the distraction. And now that I could afford them and I have the extra time to do them, I just don't want to do it. I think they're unproductive, and I think that it's like a time killer for me. I'm a real, I think priorities are really important, and I'm just not a fan. I don't judge people that do. I know a lot of people play video games because it's kind of a thing to do today, but I believe they've been harmful to society, and I'm just not a fan. It's just a personal opinion. Again, I don't judge. I don't hate people that do it. I'm not jealous. I think it's a time killer. It takes people away from what's more important. That's my personal take on it. Now, for those people that are making money playing video games and they're doing it for a living, kudos to you, because I know guys making big money playing it. I say congratulations, and I'm all about it. But if you're just doing it for fun and just killing time, I just think you could do a lot better things with your time to be way more productive. He also asks, what are my first memories of experience ASMR? There were two people that I knew in my life, and believe it or not, they were both men. And whenever they would come to talk to me, they were customers of mine when I worked for a Toyota dealership, and they would come talk to me, and every time they talked to me, it was like my body would tingle. And I'm like, what the hell? Nobody else does this to me. How are these? One was like an old man, and one was like some Indian dude. And I'm like, how does this happen? I'm not attracted to these guys. I did not understand why it affected me. And so what happened is I was searching YouTube one night, and I was trying to find like an Indian teacher. And so I was like doing Indian man voice, like searching in YouTube, and then an ASMR video came up. And so then I said, ASMR, what's that? And I Googled ASMR, and I'm like, oh God, this is a thing. And so then I was just like clicking on video after video after video. And I found several videos that did it, and ironically, none of them were men. And so what led me to ASMR was men, real life, but then I just found like a couple of women ASM artists that really help relax me and make me tingle, and that's why I liked it. I love that tingle feeling. It is just so relaxing. It just kills all my anxiety and stress, and just boom, it just knocks me the hell out, and I love it. So his last question is, do you have any life advice for young adults? Oh, wow, that's just like a whole damn video, bro. I mean, I think in general, I would just say, number one, you've got to stay out of trouble. It's so easy to get into trouble, falling prey to peer pressures and things like that. Definitely don't start smoking young, because addiction to nicotine is rough. I was addicted to nicotine forever, and I hated it. Now, like, I didn't smoke for a long time, but like once they had like nicotine mints and things like that, I would take those because I needed them. I was addicted, and I didn't want to smoke because it stung so bad. But anyway, but yeah, just try to stay out of trouble, and then really try to focus on what you want to do, for your future, what you want to do for careers and stuff. So start like talking to people that do them. Whatever job you're thinking about doing, find somebody that does it, and talk with them about it, because they may end up telling you that you don't want to do this, and so that would be a good piece of advice. But again, I don't want to be vague on that one, because this is just a huge topic, and it's hard for me to do that in just like a couple minutes, so I want to try to get to more questions. But life advice for young people is a great title for another chapter, so I appreciate the recommendation, and let's move that one to another one. So Musty Sock commented on that, said he's from Portland, Oregon too, so both Karma Whispers and Musty Sock are both from Portland, Oregon, which is kind of cool. Musty Sock has asked a question for me, and let me get to Lauren first, because she's another subscriber. So before I get to Musty Sock, let me go up to Lauren's comment. Where are we at? Lauren, there you are. Okay, she says she has 3-ish questions. Feel free to pick none, one, or all. So number one, what are your top do's and don'ts when it comes to house buying? Number one, don't buy too much house. So definitely stick to your budget. So if you know what you're comfortable with. So the first step in buying a house is talking to a bank, and a bank will tell you, here's how much house you can afford, and here's what the payment is if you buy this much house. So based on that information, you know how much money you're making, and you can say, okay, that's too much payment. Even though I'm approved for that much, I'm not comfortable with that much, so I'm going to step down to this. So number one, stay within your budget, because you'll never get in trouble. Number two, I don't recommend buying fixer-uppers unless you're like really financially set, or you have really good skills to fix things up. Like if you're very handy and you're mechanically inclined, or if you work in some of the skilled trades like carpentry or doing drywall, painting, carpeting, if you can do a lot of this stuff yourself, then that's when I recommend doing it. But if you're not handy like that, do not buy a fixer-upper. It's so expensive today to get things fixed because contractors charge so much. So buy something that you can move into right away that doesn't need a lot. Now, it's one thing if you just want to paint the kitchen a different color, that's easy, and it's cheap to have done, even if you need to pay somebody. But that's my top do's and don'ts. So just buying what you can afford, and don't buy a fixer-upper unless you're able to do all the work yourself. And again, that's for a longer video. I could go on and on about house buying, so maybe that's another video I'll make. Second, what's your proudest accomplishment in life, and what helped you get there? I think when I think back to my prior career, my first career, my real career in life, was I managed car dealerships. And so I started in that business, like washing cars, and worked my way up to selling cars, and then became a finance manager and a sales manager, and then finally a general manager. Well, I found this dealership in Anderson, Indiana. It was going out of business. It was a Toyota store in Anderson, and it was going out of business, and it was for sale for $400,000. Now, I couldn't afford to buy it because I was like 27, 28, and I couldn't afford to buy it, but I really believed I could turn it around. And so I was able to meet with the owner of that dealership and say, hey, look, he didn't even have any kids. I didn't have a wife. I worked like day and night. And even when I left that place, when I would come home, I would sit on my computer and like email clients and stuff. And I just knew I was out working everybody. And when you have nothing, that's the way you can get ahead, because you have nothing to lose. You can set yourself apart that way. And so that's what helped me get there, my hard work. So even today, like if you go into that dealership, they have pictures of the original tiny little store that was for sale for $400,000. Then the next building we built, they've got a giant mural of that. And then the third one, this big giant $40 million building that they built. So that store that was for sale for $400,000 today, they would sell it for $100 million or $120 million. But again, if I would have been able to buy it, I would be that guy. But I mean, they paid me well, but the owner made all the money. You know, they made the big money. I made a living. So she follows that up with, I always love asking that question to people because we don't give ourselves enough credit and appreciation for things we've accomplished in life, and I appreciate that. Just even talking about it, Lorna helped me rehash that and feel that pride of doing that. So bless your heart for that. I didn't get a question from KB, so maybe he'll want to. I'm gonna probably have to make a second video because unfortunately, I can only make my videos like 20-25 minutes. Is about how long I can do, just because of how long they take to upload. So I'm looking to see where I'm at time frame wise here. Oh my god, I'm already at 30 minutes. This is going to be a struggle. I'm going to end this now. I'm glad I checked the timer, so I'm going to end this now, but I might even upload another one yet tonight if I can make another one. But that's the first stage of answering questions, but at least I got the very first question done and I got all my channel members answered. So for everyone else, I promise you I'm going to answer, so just bear with me, and I'll see you on the next video.